Hi guys, just a wee video. I've been playing some Mass Effect 2 again, so it's made my head start to go all a bit, wandering with the thoughts of, is Shepard really indoctrinated? Was there such a theory in the first place? Why was it there? That kind of thing. And I watched a documentary yesterday by Clever Noobs, who I will put the link down below, so please do have a look at that. He's had at least 3 different documentaries up for this so far. One was before the extended DLC was announced. The second was after it was announced but still hadn't been put in yet, but it had information from like the Arrival DLC from Mass Effect 2, and the third one, as far as I'm aware, has got all of the DLC kind of things in it as well, so it should mesh a lot better. Each documentary is 1.5 hours to 2 hours long, so you need to be in the proper mood for them. Thankfully, it's Mass Effect, I'm always in the mood for it, and I love a good conspiracy theory, I really do. But yeah, there was that. So his theory is that, or at least the indoctrination theory, which it didn't really follow too much that he was indoctrinated, it just had him in a dream state. So technically what he was saying was that Shepard was dead. As soon as the beam hit him, from what I was taking from it was that Shepard was dead. Shepard died when the beam hit him on his way to Harbinger to go up to the Citadel. So that full 20-minute section that happens apparently doesn't happen. He's dreaming the full thing, because as you know, there's the 4 different ways to go through it. There's the destroy option, there's synergy, there's control, or there's just shoot the Star Child and all holy hell goes. So I shot the Star Child once. It felt good. But most often than not, I would go for the synergy route, because I felt at the time that was the best option for me to go for. The way that I had played through it, it was just this is it. But also the destroy option was supposedly the renegade option, but we all know it wasn't. We all know it wasn't the real renegade option, even though it had the red on it and it was like, no, if you choose this, it's going to go horribly wrong. No, it didn't. It was fine. And also, let's remember, if you choose renegade, it's the only one, the renegade, if you just choose destroy, it's the only one where you actually survive at the end of it. This is where it gets interesting. So, let's go back to the beam hitting the light. Hello, Casey. The beam hitting the light, the beam hitting Shepard. If the collectors wanted to kill Shepard, they would have done it. They would have done it ages ago. If the collectors wanted to kill him, they would have killed them. If the Reapers wanted to kill them, the guy would be dead by now, right? We know this. So clearly they don't want him dead. They are going to be, they want to put their new Reaper style, we see at the end of Mass Effect 2, they model the new Reaper from him or her, depending on how you go for it. I'm always femship, but at this point in time I'm going to refer to him as him, because a lot of people go for him. Mark Muir, you're alright. But yeah, there's that. So they would have killed him way back when. As soon as they found out about it, they would have had him done indeed. But so there's the whole kind of the theory of the dream sequence. He's been hit by Harbinger's beam, and the things start to happen where he is kind of regaining some of the kind of the dream sequences that he was getting throughout Mass Effect 3. You're getting the shadowy figures. There's the piles and piles of what look like Caden and Ashley, like a scalped version of Caden and Ashley. It's their original armour kind of thing. It just looks, it's pretty gruesome when you think about it, because it's just piles and piles, and it's supposed to be Shepard's guilt for not being able to save both of them, that one of them they had to choose one of them to die, but you don't know which one he chose, so that depending on the different gameplay, so they're both there, they're both dead. There's also the whole it's just it's, I should be working off a script or something, and I'm not. It's just coming through the head. I do apologise. So there's them. There's the little bushes and the trees that you see in the dream sequences when he's chasing the Star Kid that doesn't exist. He's just a manifestation. You always know that he's a manifestation, the little kid. Everybody's known that. I mean, nobody helped him. There was, every time that you see him at the start before you leave Earth, there's always a caution sign around about him, which I thought was kind of interesting. That's cool. I never noticed it until the guy in the video mentioned it, and it was like, actually, yeah. And considering the amount of times that I've played these games, you'd think I would notice, but I didn't. So yeah. But yeah, going back to the kind of, he's in the dream state. The Marauder and the Husks should have killed him, simply because they were able to aim. His firearm was guffed completely and utterly. He couldn't aim properly. He could barely walk. So he was just floating through the situation. There was no sign of Anderson beforehand, so we know that if Anderson got up there behind him, it would have been behind him. He wouldn't have been in the same place. There was only one way for it to go. And then there was the whole thing with the elusive man. So the two of them are like the good and the evil. Elusive man wanted to control every species that had fought the Reapers beforehand, always tried to control them. That's where they failed. And in the whole kind of dream sequence, kind of indoctrination thing, they said that Shepard was also feeling that he had the power to control them because he hadn't been kind of fully taken over by them at this point. But everyone sees, while they're talking to the elusive man and to Anderson, that there's the whole the oily kind of screen coming back in again. So that was the Reapers kind of trying their last ditch attempts to get a hold of him, to suck him in. There's also the situation of it's just scenarios that you see. I mean, the final place where you're to make your control, synergy, or destroy option, right? If you think about it, if you look at it properly, flip it upside down, it's more or less the same as the last image that you see, or the first image that you see when you're waking back up from the shot, because you've got the Mako, or something along the lines, the same shape as the Mako, to the side, on the control side, and it's kind of clear on the destroy side where everything else was, where the it's kind of clear down that way. So there's no, it's just basically the same representation. It could be seen as being laziness, but come on, it's BioWare, they're not going to be lazy about this kind of thing. So there's that. So it's just, it's clear to me, it's clearly becoming a just kind of a dream situation. So you can go for any of the options, any of them, and like the control and the synergy, each of them, Shepard dies, it becomes a husk anyway. That's the full indoctrination. That would be the full indoctrination happening. And then on the destroy, as we know, it gets to the end, and then it kind of flashes back to London, and you see the N7 armour, and then the from where he's taking a breath again. That would be him waking up again. So there's that. I am aware I'm rambling. I do apologise. It's what I do. I'm it's a difficult thing for me to explain because I've got like all these kind of things going on in my head, and I should have written it down, but I don't write them down, and then it's like bleh, and kind of thing. But if that was a dream situation, right, which we're now getting to the point that it could well have been, Shepard's imagined all this happening while he was in a state of unconsciousness, and then the adrenaline from the explosions has kind of given him that kind of, that I'm awake, I'm alive kind of thing, but you don't see him at the end, but you know, so there's that. So who pressed the button? Who saved the day if it wasn't Shepard? If Shepard at this point was unconscious, did Anderson make it up there? Could it have been the elusive man, even though he was wanting to control them? He did kind of waver depending on your options and the things, so it could have been one of the team members. Major Coates could have managed to get up there. I mean, Harbinger did leave, so that's just what I'm like, I want to know. It's been 2 years. I apologise for dredging up 2 years old stories, but I want to know. And then with the whole Mass Effect 4 happening, hello Vesper, hello. With the whole with the Mass Effect 4 coming out, hopefully we'll be hearing information about it in the next few months with E3, Gamescom. Hopefully there'll be something at Eurogamer. I doubt it, but you never know. With these kind of things happening in the near future, maybe we'll find out more. I mean, I know that they've said Shepard's not going to be in it. It's not going to be another soldier story. So way back when they announced Mass Effect 4, well, they never really announced it, but you knew that it was going to be happening anyway. Everyone was developing their own theories. What I would actually like to see happening with Mass Effect 4 would be to have it running concurrent to the original trilogy, instead of having like a prequel or a sequel or those kind of things. Because let's think back to Star Wars, right? I do not like Star Wars. I appreciate it for what it is, but I do not like it. The original Star Wars was better than the prequel nonsense, and now we have 7, 8 and 9 in the process of getting made, with The Ancient Fear being the working title. If they keep it, whatever. But the new trilogy does not excite. There's no form of excitement. But back to Mass Effect 4. Run it concurrent to what's happening, but if you think back to Mass Effect 3, there's a team of mercenaries in Purgatory, the website, not the website, what? The nightclub, the area is running, which by the way doesn't exist, because if you think about it, Shepard could technically already be dead by that point, but that's neither here nor there. But in Purgatory there's a group of mercenaries, and I just thought that it would be interesting to see it from like sort of a mercenary group point of view, where if you're having something, if you're doing something in the kind of the game, Shepard does something and it's going to affect your way of playing the game. Like the decisions that you make in 1, 2 and 3 are going to they're going to have the same effects in 4 kind of thing. Like, oh, Shepard's done this during game 1, so that changes the way that somebody acts in game 4. Likes of Conrad Werner. Everybody loves Conrad. He was lovely. Shot me in the foot, or tried to at least. If he's in it, I think that would be kind of cool. Just little things from the original series that could be put into place. Like I say, the options that Shepard makes in 1, 2 and 3 would affect what happens, what your team does in number 4. Again, it doesn't have to be mercenaries, but that was just my theory, my thoughts on it. So I'm going to stop rambling now. I am looking forward to any news that we get about Mass Effect 4. My next rambling video game post video thing will probably be about, it's either going to be Darkness or Condemned. I have much to say on both of those subjects. There will also be one at some point about the Gears of War trilogy plus Judgment, which, by the way, wasn't awful. Right, it was a good game in its own right. It just, I don't know what people's problem was with the game. The multiplayer wasn't brilliant, but the actual game, the new things that they added into it, I had no issue with them. I thought it was really, really good. I'm still trying to play through it. I haven't picked it up for a while, but I'm going through it on hardcore and insane. Anyone that knows me knows that I hated the Mass Effect series to start off with, but then Mass Effect 2, no, I'm not talking about Mass Effect anymore. I wasn't interested in Mass Effect anyway when it first came out, but a group that I'm part of, Frag Racing Game, also the link for them will be down and below, go see them. A group, the group that I belong to, someone was selling their copy, so I picked it up on the cheap, got it for about £18, and I have since played Mass Effect 1 12 times. So yeah, there's a thing. I had no interest in kind of sci-fi games or RPGs at that point. My favourite RPG before that was Final Fantasy X and 10.2. Yes, I am a 10.2 fan, and that's simply because I'm a girl. And it was like, yay, girls and heroes, instead of guys being the heroes this time, so that was a nice change. But yeah, the Gears of War series, I was never a fan of that. Something happened and I picked up the control pad for Gears 2 and I blasted through it on hardcore on my own. I put the fear into at least 2 or 3 of my friends at that point because they hadn't seen me so angry and so deadly, basically, because I was just like always like, oh no, I can't do it, ah! I was getting headshot after headshot after headshot. Like, these things, their heads were just going. But yeah, so I since kind of formed an appreciation for that as well. It's one of my go-to games when I just want to shoot people in the head. Call of Duty doesn't have that effect on me in the slightest. I don't like the Call of Duty games. I don't think I ever will. But they're there. It's a thing. Whatever. So, yes, future videos will be Condemned, what we want to see for if the third game ever gets made. I would love to see it getting made, I really would, and I'm sure there's at least a few thousand other people that would like to see it as well. Darkness 1 and 2, love those games, love the comics, the graphic novels, I absolutely love them. Mark Silvestri is a genius. He's an absolute genius. So the Darkness 3, we were left on a massive cliffhanger on Darkness 2. I need Darkness 3 in my life. I need it. And also, as I say, there will be a video at some point about the Gears of War games. I may or may not go into further detail about what happened that made me pick up the controller for it. Probably not, because enough people know that story to know that it's essentially is if I ever do one of those stupid draw my life videos, then it'll be an end of. So yeah, I apologise for the rambling, I apologise for the subject jumping constantly, I apologise for the dogs. Again, not brilliant lighting, but you can see me if you wanted to see me. But yeah, if you have any thoughts, if you would like to add to the conversation, tell me what your thoughts about the indoctrination dream theory. Did Shepard actually survive? Was he or she, were they affected by the basically, if they were going to get indoctrinated, it would have happened before the end of the first game. So that's been in effect since the first game, that the indoctrination would have begun then. For the amount of time that they've spent time in Reaper technology, fighting Reaper technology in the surrounding area of Reaper technology, with the time that they spent with the Leviathan in number 3 as well, it would have happened. So yeah, I think that that's the thing that's happened. But if you've got anything that you want to add to it, if you want to tell me, no, you're wrong, tell me, no, I'm wrong. Be polite about it though. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed my long rambling video. See ya.